Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast episode. It is your girl, Abia Grant. I hope everybody is having a wonderful day. At the time of recording this, it is March the 17th. It's March the 17th. And this week, I'm going to be honest with you guys, it's been a lot of I think I'm learning each week. I feel like I'm learning about myself. Um, I'm at a point in my life in where I am more so letting things roll off my back. Um, I am more so also if it directly affects me, then I will address it. But I think I am more or less at a point in my journey of where if I have control over it, if there's a possibility things can change, then that's what I'll attempt for. But I at the same time also feel like that when you are trying to live a life in more in peace and not letting the outside noise, meaning people, things, and etc., get into your space, you start to really look at life a little bit differently. So I could say more or less that is where I'm at this week. Now, guys, we'll let you know I am recording this podcast episode on my phone. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I really didn't feel like taking out the computer because I normally record on my computer and I'll have like my mic and everything. And I just kind of didn't want to get all that together. So I'm just laid out in my little in my room. I'm laid out on the pillow with my rug underneath me and just chilling, just laying back and just chilling and having this conversation with you guys. So I just really wanted to not do I just wanted to be for this podcast episode. I'm also tired as well too, so that's a part of it as well. But God willing, today I'm able to get some rest after, you know, I do my errands and etc. But let's go ahead and get back into the podcast episode. So the topic that I wanted to discuss with you now that we've gotten through that intro is allowing things or people to roll off your back and think about the bigger picture. So, you know me, I am good for a good story time, and I have lived a little bit, so I can share a situation that happened when I was in my, I want to say maybe early 20s. But I was working this job, and I was working in data entry, and job, for some strange reason, coming into the interview, I was kind of hesitant about the what I saw. What I saw was this place that it was, I don't want to say military style, but I want to say very structured. And I have no, issues with structure, but it was kind of like people were, I don't know, it just felt off. I'm trying to find the best way. It just felt like people were not happy. You just felt this sense of energy walking into the room, and I wish that for myself during that period of time that I had listened to the environment. I think at that time I was really trying to I think I was on unemployment, and I was really trying to get back out there in the workforce and everything. So I was just pulling at straws pretty much. Like whatever came my way, came my way. And I think that also fell into the space of just me accepting any old thing. But let me get to the story. So after I had the interview, I want to say I got the position, and I was there for a couple of weeks. And like I said, the environment was very structured. Came in, you did your work. There wasn't really any downtime. It was work, work, work. You go to lunch, you come back, and everything. But also, what I noticed is that the people that I was working with, I mean, if you guys have worked in the office type setting or any type of setting, you normally not befriend your coworkers, but you'll have like different type of chit chats and things. But what I noticed is that a lot of the employees really didn't mess with me too much. Yeah, I had like my immediate supervisor, and she'll talk, and but as far as like that relationship between coworker and coworker, it wasn't there. So I was like, well, okay, it is what it is. Maybe I'm just, maybe they don't rock with me, and I'm fine with that. Like, I wasn't feeling any type of quarrels with that, but that's also something that I guess you could say was a red flag. Well, I can't say I guess. It was a red flag now that I'm older, that people are not honestly, it was a very high and by kind of situation. So I want to say probably about a month to a month and a half later, I get called into the office, my boss's office. Now, I've already been there a month, right? So that means I'm still on probation. But while I'm there, I'm noticing that the owner of the company was very disrespectful, just very disrespectful to management. You would hear him talk very loudly from his office, and his office was like way down the walkway, so that means that he had to be really loud, and his door would be closed, but you would hear him. So it was kind of like this very aggressive personality trait, very just, this is what I say. Um, yeah, that's just how he rocked. I guess honestly, he was getting away with it for whatever period of time, and he's the owner, so he probably felt like he can behave in this manner, and these people need their jobs, so therefore they're just going to accept any old thing. So, anyways, I get called into the office by my supervisor. He's there, and they're basically telling me they're gonna let me go, and I'm like, why? I want an explanation on why. Like I said, during this time, I was really looking to work, and I was in a tough place at that time. I was living with my grandmother at that time, and it was a blow. So I really wanted to understand what was going on and why they were letting me go. Like during this process, nobody really came to me and gave me any type of like heads up in regards to, okay, this is what your work performance is looking like, or this is what this is looking like, or this, it was no type of, there was nobody saying anything for that month, or any type of things that need improvement, because a lot of times what happens, you guys know, you come into a workspace, and you got to get acclimated to that particular environment. So I I was very angry. I was very angry. And when I started to get very volatile, verbally, and I cussed people out. And when I walked away from there, I was pissed, but I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed that I've allowed myself to get to that point of allowing these people to not, it wasn't even the point of being fired, but allow for these people to allow for myself to get so out of my normal behavior. And I think at that time I also thought, oh, you're losing this job, how are you going to find another job, and da 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 da. And my thinking on that now is like, there's always going to be a next job. Maybe not the job that you necessarily want, but there's always ways to get into that next opportunity. Sometimes it may take time, but God willing, eventually that door will open. So going back to the volatile behavior, I allow myself to just be very nasty. Did they deserve it? Now my 40-year-old self is thinking. I think they deserve to have a conversation and know how to better work with employees that they are bringing on board and keeping them, what's the word? Keeping them up to date on their work performance. Pretty much what they said to me is that I was making data entry errors. And I'm like, okay, well, if I'm making these errors, then why not address that with me early on so that I could be able to improve, my performance and catch myself. Because like I said, coming into the door, you are, you're not knowledgeable about their system. So you are just trying to make do with what you do know. But I wish that at that time that I allowed myself to let it roll off my back. Be able to tell them, okay, this is what you need. This is what I feel that needs to be done better for the next person that comes on board. But allow for it to roll off my back, because at the end of the day, it's like, I'm allowing for these people to change who I am. And this is not who I am. So I say this story because a lot of times I see people, I don't feel, how can I say this? I don't feel that people should be used. I don't feel people should be disrespected. I don't feel that people should just let things slide all the time. I feel like if it is directly affecting you per se, then you speak on it. But even when you are speaking on it, you have to remain, I feel, you're entitled to however you do things. But I feel that you have to be yourself at the end of the day. You have to walk out of that space of feeling like, yeah, I acknowledge what was going on, but I didn't allow for that person's behavior to offset who I am as an individual. And I think a lot of times people allow others to offset them as an individual, and then you regret at the end of the day behaving the way that you did behave. And I feel like, I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of times it's like we get so angry. We get so angry in the moment, but we have to, one of the things that I've learned in therapy and just in relationships in general is that you have to walk away sometimes. in order to collect your thoughts and be able, if you need to be able to come back to that party and have that conversation with them. Be it in a space where you know that you're going to be volatile or disrespectful or whatever, and you're going to regret your behavior once action is done, then you have to know that this is your typical trait, and therefore you need to eliminate that. Like, I know for me, that is my particular trait. My particular trait is to react. And I don't think necessarily, like I said before, that reaction is what is needed at that particular point. I think that a lot of times you come up with a better solution when you allow for yourself to process whatever is going on. And I feel like it's one of the hardest things to do. There's moments, that even now in my early, my 40s, I was going to say in my early age, but in my 40s, in which it was very tough for me to walk away. It was very tough for me to walk away and gather my thoughts. But I want to say on the flip side that I'm not saying allow for situations or people or whatever that circumstance may be to use you. I think that there is a balance between allowing for yourself to walk away and allowing for yourself to not be manipulated or hurt. I do at the same time feel like people need to stand up for themselves. But that's just where I'm at. That's where I'm at in letting things go. And then also at the same time, if I don't have control over the situation, Abia Grant is not getting herself involved in that. Abia Grant focuses on herself and making sure that she stays in alignment with herself. And at the end of the day, like I said, it's up to your choice. Like, I feel like we always have a choice. All right, guys. So I want to go ahead and end the podcast here. So I want to go and read today's quote. And today's quote is, "Don't let the behaviors of others destroy your inner peace." I'm going to read that one more time. Don't let the behaviors of others destroy your inner peace. And we could apply that to things as well, too. That goes to things as well, too. Don't allow for all the outside stuff that's going on to seep into your happiness. Because when you allow it to seep into your happiness and bring you down, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for you to accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish. It's going to be hard for you to make decisions that you want to make, because you're allowing for other people opinions or behaviors or whatever's going on with them seep into what is going on with you. And that's not where you supposed to be. You should not allow other people's actions to influence what you're doing. Yeah, if they're doing things that is good, then great. But if they're not, you need to leave that over there. Because you know at the end of the day that inner things too. But you know at the end of the day that's not how you move. So I'm going to leave the podcast episode there. I hope that you have enjoyed this podcast episode. I hope that this audio is good and everything, and it doesn't sound like who did it and why, because we would not like that. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode and that you have gained something out of it. Alright, guys, so stay blessed out there in those streets. Make sure that you treat others kindly out there in those streets, God willing. I will talk to you guys in the next podcast episode. Alright, have a good day.